So if you're feeling particularly not on camera, that's okay. If you want to stay on camera, that's okay as well. That's absolutely fine. Um, Glad you're here. Thank you for being punctual. That's always a gift. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let me do this here for a second. Okay, great. Really good. Okay, welcome everybody. You are here because you're on my mailing list, and we've either worked together before or we haven't worked together before, and you're just kind of interested about commercials. I can't thank you enough for being here today. There's like a million other places you could be, and you've chosen to be here, which means that you're ahead of 90% of the other actors out there. Well done. That's a made-up statistic, but I take it to be true. The very fact that we're really interested in learning something really does set you apart. I think that the thing that's gotten me through my career is my curiosity and asking questions. Speaking of which, at the end of this, well, here's how it's going to break down. I'm going to talk to you today about the one thing that you need to do in the callback to book the job. And there's only one thing. I like to keep it simple. Then I'm going to introduce this opportunity for you to join the development center, and I'll talk more about that. That's my private coaching group. And then we're going to open it up for a Q&A. And I really do encourage you to ask any questions about commercials. I think in my experience through the decades that I've been doing this, I found that the person who asks the most question is actually the most experienced. And it's the person who's just starting out that is afraid to ask questions, who's afraid to be seen as green. And I encourage you to move to that end of the spectrum of your career early, which is to be curious. I guarantee you there are no stupid questions in this course today. Knowing the teacher, there might be some stupid answers. But if you ask a question, I guarantee you there's going to be some actor who's like, oh my God, I'm so glad they asked that. Okay. So please be curious. Great, really good. Welcome, everybody. So glad you're here. Thanks for taking the time to be here. Some folks were in my Friday, was in yesterday's class. If anyone who's here in my yesterday's class, can you just speak to that for a second? Can you just come on mic or just come on camera and just speak to how was it? How did you experience it? How'd it go? I think Aaron's here, Tria's here.
Morning.
Hey.
Um, let's see, the class yesterday, someone was asking about that.
Yeah, just how did it go for you?
It was great. I found it really helpful. Yeah, just a couple like especially some really specific tips that like I just hadn't considered before, especially and it's also really nice because I feel like what we broke down could be applied to spots without dialogue as well. Um,
And even TV and film, I would argue.
yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Great.
But yeah, it was great.
Well, thanks for showing up for that. I really do appreciate that. That's good. Okay, cool. Today we're going to talk about callbacks. Please feel free in the chat to throw in if you've, or just say out loud if you want. Has anyone here had a callback before? Yeah. Okay, good. Why do callbacks exist? I always find this so interesting. Like everyone in that room has seen your tape. Everybody in that room has seen their first audition. Why not hire you right off from the audition? Why go through this whole charade of calling you back in, doing the exact same thing? Like, why do callbacks even exist? Any ideas? Go ahead and shout it out or put it in the chat.
I feel like for me, as someone who also directs, it's always just to make sure that people can be consistent, that they can, uh, that the first time wasn't a fluke, that it, that under a little more pressure they can deliver again.
Is that an observation as a director? Like this is something that I want to put my actors through to see if they can go through the gulag of pain of the callback to see if they can reproduce what it is that they did before.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Really good.
It's also
Diane,
because set, oh,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
I was just gonna say because like set can be high pressure and stressful and stuff like that, and you just want to make sure that people can show up again. That's it. And then also that you can like do things like redirect them and stuff like that and see them in person.
That's right, great. Diana says to see if they can work with you. And then in the chat, Lauren says, director, get a chance to work with the actors and see if they're flexible. I love all of this. I think that's absolutely true. I love it. It's been my experience that in the callback, well, first let me say this. If you get called back, know that they want to work with you. They want to work with you. Just put that out of your mind. I think the callback exists to see if they can work with you. Is this somebody that I can work with for the day? Is this someone that I can work with for the commercial campaign? Is this someone that I can invite onto a high pressured set? They want to work with you. They just want to see if they can work with you. And like was mentioned, I think that usually shows up in some director going, okay, that was good. That was good. Let's try it like this, which I think most actors take in fear. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, sure. I can totally do that. Absolutely. Sure. Totally. And in the second take, all that's really happening is the actor thinking, is this what they wanted? I don't even know what that note means. Okay, because so often directors don't have the vernacular to be able to speak to actors, and they're throwing ideas out. Keep in mind that the director in a commercial callback is still fighting for their jobs. We'll get another audition. This director may never work for blank company again, depending on how this spot goes. Because let me go back to the original idea about all of this is that the commercial world, the on-camera commercial world, is a world that's rooted and based and engined by fear because they have no idea if the commercial is going to work. No idea until it runs. And that fills everybody with just a deep terror. Our job is to enter into these situations, into these audition rooms, into these self-tapes in service. How can I help? And if you've worked with me before, you know that that's the foundation of everything. How can I help? How can I help now? How can I help now? How can I help now? Which is basically, I mean, service means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But in the context of my work, I feel like service is just being present to this moment to recognize what is needed. Because there's no way that we can be present to this moment if we ourselves are in fear-based thinking. Oh my God, no one here looks like me. Oh my God, everybody here looks like me. Is this shirt right? My personal favorite. All of that is fear-based thinking, which the camera picks up on. And now we look and smell and taste like everybody on the other side of that camera, and they don't want to have anything to do with what looks and smells and tastes like them. They're already terrified. So our job is to show up into these situations in service. How can I help? Come on over to this side. The water is really nice. It's us giving over and not needing anything in return from our auditions. And that's the huge paradigm shift I ask of this industry. I ask of ourselves. I ask of myself. Because when we're asking for something in return, that means that we might not get it. And that's when our fear arises. And we ask for a lot of things in our auditions. I need this job. I need to be seen as a working actor. I need to be seen as talented. I don't want you to see me as this that I was accused of when I was young. I need you to see me as this, which fights against what I was accused of when I was young. Whatever that bully told me that I believed. I find that we often use these opportunities, these amazing opportunities for play in our auditions, self-tapes, and callbacks to bring in whatever it is that we're trying to defend ourselves against outside the real world. And that's not what these environments are. They're already terrified enough as it is. Let's just drop it, come in, and play for 4 minutes and help somebody out. Okay. Today we're going to learn how to help somebody out in our callback. Who just mentioned as the director? Was that who? I'm sorry. Who jumped on as that?
I did. Aaron.
Aaron. Okay, great, Aaron. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you play my director if you don't mind.
Okay.
Is that cool? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Really good. Sorry, you got to put your hat back on. I apologize. Okay, great.
All good.
I meant your director's hat, not literally your hat, but I'm glad you're wearing it anyway. That's excellent.
Yeah, I just rolled out of bed because I'm in California, so
Yeah, right. Thank you for bringing the digital coffee. I appreciate that. That's super kind. Okay, listen. So, in my experience, the callback exists to see if this director can work with this actor. That's why they call everybody back. And then they get a redirect from the director, and every actor takes it in fear because they're terrified that they're not going to be able to accomplish whatever it is that the director wants. And we're done with that. We're done with fear-based auditioning. Done with it. Instead, what we want to do is a little dance I like to call the yeah, 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 which I'm going to show you now, which in this dance, we show the director that we're someone that they can work with. We're showing the room that we're someone who can handle a high pressure situation in joy and in service. And we're showing the room that we are someone who can work with the director. Because I don't want you to think about callbacks anymore as the job. That's out of our control. And I really do feel like the only reason I'm still around as a working actor is that early in my career, I realized, right, there are some things I can control, and there are some things I cannot control. And I did a deep dive, laser focused on that stuff that I can control and let everything else behind. What can we not control? We cannot control getting booked. That is literally a decision that's out of our control. When was the last time you walked back into a callback, tapped Aaron on the shoulder and went, "You're hiring me," and Aaron went, "Oh my God, thank you. I almost forgot. That was so close." That's Aaron's decision, not ours. Pay Pay is out of our control. It's already been dictated by the producers, by the union, by everybody else, how much we're going to get paid. That is out of our control. Why are we even worrying about that? Sure, we can get into agent negotiations when we're higher powered of an actor. I hope you get to that point. Congratulations. But for the rest of us blue collar workers, which is mainly for this what commercials are all about, all of that stuff has already been decided. It's out of our control. Why are we even worrying about it? What is in our control is our thinking and our actions, which I'm going to talk about right now in this little dance that we do called the yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, I found so we're in the callback, right? Most callbacks now are happening on Zoom. So, what's going to happen is if you all see the screen right now, it's going to be me, my director, and let's say a producer. Diana's playing our producer. And so you have these kind of disembodied, usually blank screens watching your audition. And we're supposed to do this like it's the most natural thing in the world. Most actors, I think, take in callbacks with terror. And we'll start right from the very beginning. The callback, your very first take in your callback should be all about reminding them, remember, it's me from the tape. You want to work with me? Remember me? This is why we always wear back to the callback what we wore to the audition. I know this is important for a couple of several stories that happened to me in my career. Once I got off a flight from Ireland back to New York, and I had just stopped off the plane, and my agent called me and said, "Hey, you have a call back in an hour. Can you make it back?" And I was like, "Yeah, great." And zoosh, jumped in a taxi, boom, right over to the agency, made it just in time. Casting director met me at the door, and they were like, "Hey, Bill, glad you can make it. That's not what you wore at the audition." And I was like, "Well, one, I just got off an international flight. I'm sorry. And two, wow, that really means that that's an important thing." Another casting director told me a story about how they were in a session and the director was with the casting director, and the director's like, "Where's that girl in blue? I thought we called back the girl in blue." And the girl in blue was right in front of them, but she wore red back to the callback. And they're having a hard time recognizing it's a visual medium. So show up, one, like you showed up for your audition, and also two, your first take in your callback should be all about, remember, this is what I did on my tape. Now's not the time to bring in all these brilliant ideas you had on the subway on the way over there. The first take in your callback is reminding them by what you wear and your choices. Take a look at your self tape before you go to the callback. These are the choices that I made in my original take that I think got me the callback. Like yesterday, we were talking about tags, creating an alternative line of dialogue at the end that pushes that moment forward. Sometimes in my callbacks, I'll use the same tag. I was in a callback once and I used the same tag, and some producer in the back was like, "Oh yeah." It was like the best, it was like the best of hits. He recognized it from the audition. And that's why I got called back. So to remind them. So my first take in my commercial audition was me taking a sip of this tea and saying, this is delicious tea. And then Aaron, my director, in the callback, is going to give me a note. Okay. And Aaron, go ahead and make it like an emotional change. Just don't make it like a pace note, like faster or slower, just like some sort of emotional, whatever. Or as a director, whatever it is that what might come to mind. So here's my first take. I'm wearing what I wore to my audition, and I make the same choices in my first callback take that I did in my self-tape. And it goes a little something like this. And then Aaron, the director, is going to give me a note. Oh, this is delicious tea.
Great. Let's run that again. This time, can you just give me like a deeper sense of contentment? Like you're really, really enjoying the whole process.
Great, really good. Excellent. Okay, great. Then we get a note from the director. Beautiful note. Most actors, I think, are going to take that note in fear. Uh-huh. Contentment. Right. Sure. Deeper contentment. Absolutely. And in their second take, all they're really thinking is my contentment deep enough? What does that even look like? What's her contentment? What's my contentment? What does that even? There's like 50 ways of doing deeper contentment. And we go inward, and that's a fear-based choice, which the camera picks up on, and now we look and smell and taste like everybody on the other side of that camera, and we get rejected unconsciously, and we're done with that. So instead, we're going to do the exact same process over. I'm going to teach you a little dance that I always do in all my callbacks. And Aaron, give me the exact same note. That was great. Okay. So we're going back to our original callback. I'm wearing what I wore, and I make my first choice in my first take in what I did in my audition, and then I'll get that note from the director. Oh, what delicious tea.
Okay, that
Good
was great.
job. Great job, Aaron. Well done. Step one. As soon as the director or whoever it is that's giving you a note starts to give you a note, you want to make a small, imperceptible shift out of your audition space where every actor before you has been frozen in fear. On Zoom, sometimes I lean in. If it's live, I'll take a step. I'm not moving off camera. I'm using the camera to one, show them this is my workspace. This is what it's going to be like to work with me on set. I'm no longer in the sphere-based audition space. I'm working. Okay. Literally, step one is just that, a step. Move out of the audition space into the workspace. Step two, I listen to the note enjoy. I listen to the note enjoy. All day long, Aaron, the director, is getting what I like to call the capital A actor face from every actor in there. The Juilliard face, as I like to call it. The Yeah, sure. Deeper contentment. Absolutely. Sure. Right. Serious actor, capital A. And we wonder why they're so grumpy after getting like 60 of these in a day. Okay. We want to listen to the note enjoy. A smile is nice. We want to relax into the moment. You'll have time to act in a second. Don't worry about it. Just right now, you're allowing the sound of the director's voice to meet your ears and allowing your ears to meet the director's voice, giving some space and area and time around the note. We soften. So, Aaron, what was the note?
Uh, can you do it again, but just give me a sense of deeper contentment?
Great. Step three, we give the director a stroke for the note. We give the director a stroke for the note. How is this director feeling in this room right now? Well, let me ask you this, Aaron. Even for a second, I was like, hey, would you be my director? What was your very first thought?
Honestly, it was like, yeah, but also a little bit of,
Those were great onomatopoeias. I love it. Yeah, totally. Let's go on that second one just for a second. A little bit of, right? Look, and this is just a simulation, and her nervous system is kicking off a little bit. Imagine professional director Aaron, who's getting paid tens of thousands of dollars, and there's some other producer in that room who's like, deeper contentment. We're paying this woman $10,000 and she asked for deeper contentment. My cousin was available. Why don't we just hire him? Aaron, the director, is still in this commercial audition, is still fighting for her job. We will get another audition. This director is still fighting for this job. Whether this spot works or not. This tea company may never hire her again, depending on how this spot goes. We will always get another audition. This director may never work with this company again, depending on how this goes. Terrified, deep rooted, systematic nervous system dysregulation. Our job is to stroke these feral animals down. We have to make them feel good about the risk that they are taking in the room to give us a creative impulse. So we have to give them a little social stroke, which comes with the thinking, what a great idea. Why didn't I think of that before? Or my personal favorite, that's why they say those great things about you. Okay, my combination is this one. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, it's like a little light bulb going off. It's going to be some of the best acting you do in the room. But look, what I'm really talking about is is sincerity. Because why is this moment so amazing? Why do we actually get to give them a stroke? My favorite moment in my whole commercial career is this move. Leaning into the void to work with the director. How can I help? Because when we truly move into this area in pure service, the void, the universe, the director, the producer, the casting director, whatever it is that we're giving that energy out to, will never give us something that we can't handle in return. That's just the general basic exchange of energy. So I encourage you to lean into this and be interested instead of trying to be interesting. Give this person a little stroke. Give this person a little like thumbs up for their courage. Make them feel good. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. Make them look good in front of their bosses. That's good. And we also get to legitimately enjoy it because what's actually happening right now is that we are getting an impulse from a director and returning a result with our skills. And everybody, I'm sorry, that is working. That is actually controlled working. That is the thing that we can control. We can't control booking, we can't control pay. But if we, like a tenacious animal, go after this moment of being able to create and let that be the reward, that's a long career. That's a long career. So give these directors a stroke. And the stroke is practicable. Like sometimes when I go into class in the city, I come in from the Hudson Valley and I get off at 42nd Street and I walk down to 36th Street where the class is. And sometimes when I'm on 40th Street, I'll stop some inevitable tourist, and I'll be like, hey, excuse me, do you know where Times Square is? And they'll be like, oh, I think it's right there. And they're like, oh, thank you. And I give them a little stroke for it, watch them light up. I'm like, yep, still got it. And then I just go to class. A stroke is an incredibly powerful tool if it's done, I think, rooted in your own reality, rooted in the truth. Okay. So step three is giving the director a stroke for the note. Ah, yeah, 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 right. Good. Step four, we have to show it back to them, which is why we created the workspace. I'm not going to use my second take to try out deep contentment. I have no idea. The director Erin has in her mind pictures of what it looks like for me to have deeper contentment. I have no idea what it looks like in her mind. And I sure as heck am not going to use my second take to try it out. It's too valuable. That's why I've created the workspace. That's why I've given her a little stroke. Look, we're now working together. So then I come back with her, like I make a choice. Oh, right. Deep, deep contentment. Right. So you mean something like this. And then I show it to her in the workspace. So deep contentment, you mean something like this. Mm, that is delicious tea. Something like that.
Absolutely.
Right. I get the thumbs up from the director. Step five, I come back to the audition space for my second take. My only job is to repeat exactly what it is that I did in the workspace. And I've quote unquote nailed it without wasting an inch of tape. Now they know that they can work with me. I've created a great relationship with this working director, and they know that I can take notes and bring a certain enjoyment and vibe to the set because this is who I am. I like to collaborate. I give strokes to those that are taking a risk, and I love being where I am at the moment instead of being in my fear-based actor self. Does this play? Aaron, thank you for being my director. I appreciate that. Really excellent. Any questions about this? Because this is a little dance. Has anyone here taken dance class before? Like that first night is horrific. It is so hard, right? But that third night, a little bit better. Fifth night, getting there. 10th class, yeah. Now I'm not stepping on any toes anymore. This is practicable. Now, this whole process, it's not like we go in there and we're doing it and like the producer's like, oh, he's doing the yeah, yeah, yeah on me. Like they just don't, they have no idea. They have no idea. It's just a vibe that they're getting from us. Wow, there's just something about that dude. But it comes off as uncomfortable if we are uncomfortable doing it. So I encourage you, this is a practicable dance. You can get one-liners, two-liners, whatever. This lemonade is delicious. Truly, like that's all you need. And call somebody in to play your director and work that yeah, yeah, yeah. Some of my students have yeah, yeah, yeah parties where they are the actor and the other person's the director, and then they flip it. Because the more that you start playing this, and this is going to be recorded, and I'll send this out to everybody. Start following these steps and just start playing along with it. Because the more comfortable you are with this, the easier it is to do it in the room. Because there will be a voice in your actor head that says, get out of there. Go do your work and get out of there. Don't take up all of this time. And that is a false voice. It is so funny how we work so hard to get into these rooms and then we want to get out of them as quickly as possible, which is understandable to our nervous system because it feels like somebody's going to die in here and it might be me. These rooms are filled with fear because they have no idea if the spot is going to work. Our nervous system picks up on that, interprets it that there's a lion in here, and is trying to convince the body to get out of here to save us. Our job is to regulate that nervous system and let the brain know, no, I'm just on Zoom talking to a new friend and playing around. No one's going to die. Okay. And I found that the yeah, yeah, yeah really regulates that body because now we're just here in service and we're just here to help. And our job just becomes so much easier. Great. Question, please.
I have a question.
Hey,
Uh,
yeah.
so, just sort of imagining myself doing the yeah, 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 that's a great idea. Um, but then something like what if it's a longer take, like you enter, you look at this, you look surprised, and then you have another uh, reaction, and then you leave. So if it's a longer thing, do you do just a portion of it?
Yeah,
Uh,
great question. Like, what if you have like a direct pitch, which is like a whole monologue, right? And they're like, yeah, no, that was really great, Diana. Can it be happier? Right? I don't want you to do the entire
right,
text. I want
right.
you to do all of the actions. First off, while you're listening, enjoy, you're getting the note possibly about a specific part of that piece or a specific line or one particular note. Can it be happier? What I would do then with my movement or with my direct pitch is that I'll choose my first line or my first action to show it back to them in the workspace. Oh, right. So you mean something like this, something like that. So I showed them the first movement I get the thumbs up for it. Now I just apply in my own understanding the rest of that note to the rest of the movement. But I'm not going to do the entire second take in the workspace. Because then it confuses them because they're like, wait, are they doing it? Are they not doing it? Like, why are they doing it off to the side? Like, are we doing our second take now or what? Create the workspace so that they know that you're not here, but then don't do your entire second take. Choose something very specific to show back to them that they can either give you the thumbs up or the thumbs down for. Okay. Is
And I
that,
have another question.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so the other thing I feel like I would do, because I'm still in the fear mode, is kind of mark the adjustment. But like you were really doing that, I felt like you were really doing you were taking the time in your rehearsal to really feel that contentment as
Right,
opposed to marking the contentment.
right. And it because it doesn't serve to market. That's not what's in her head. She has to see in her mind what the note was matched up to what I'm doing. That's the only reason the thumbs up exists. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I see done. We think in five sensory pictures. That note came from, I'm not seeing enough contentment, but this is what I see in my mind. I now need to see it here. We have to show it to them. If we explain it back to them, it doesn't work. If we go right into our second take, nothing but fear because we're trying it out then. We have to take this moment and give ourselves a little space and time to be able to show it to us. And I'll be honest with you, in my entire career, not once has a director just been like, "What the what are you doing?" I have to say that once, this is kind of funny. I was in the yeah, 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 and I just wasn't getting it. Like the director is like, "No, no, no, it's like an explosion in your mouth," which was an actual note. And I'm like, "Oh, right, right, explosion in my mouth. So you mean something like this?" Like, "No, no, 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 like 4th of July." Oh, right, 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 4th of July. So you mean something like, and I just wasn't getting it. So that by my fourth take, this director just yelled out, "Just do it already." And everybody laughed out loud. But not because I wasn't getting it, but because within 30 seconds, this guy was talking to me as if we had worked together for years. And that's what this is. I really want you, everybody, to shift your concept of the callback. The callback is not about the job, it's out of your control. The callback is the rare opportunity to work with a working director, to create a relationship with a working director. That is a long career. This working director, Aaron, may not even be able to give me this spot. They may have already, they may have already found their person by the time I got into the room. Have we ever had that kind of callback? You go into the callback and you do your first take and the director's like, "Thank you, Bill," and releases you from the room? What? Like, why didn't they just watch my tape again? That's literally what I just did. Like, why does that callback exist? Why do they just call you all the way in to have you do it once and then let you go? I think it's because they've already found their person by the time you got in the room. And out of courtesy, they are seeing everybody else who came in. Now, if we are truly dedicating to this idea of service, if they have found what they are looking for, that means that the collective fear in this industry has gone down a peg. And we have to celebrate that, even if it doesn't meet our petty little schedule, which means our reaction is to this. Okay, Bill, thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Well done. I'll see you around, which you will. I don't know how many times I've run into the same directors and callbacks over and over and over again. And we hear this a lot, but I really do take this to be true. It is not a sprint, it is a marathon, and it is not a straight line, it is a circle. If you do this long enough, you will run into the same people over and over and over again. And no one wants to work with this guy. Okay, Bill, thank you. Thank you. It just doesn't, it doesn't work. We have to celebrate that they found somebody. But the callback is all about creating a relationship with the director. That's the opportunity. And we kind of have to just give up the job. It's the relationship that's the most important. Great question. Anyone else? Any other questions about the yeah, yeah, yeah arising? Is this confusing? Does this fill anyone with terror? Are we excited about it? For those who have taken my class, are we using it?
Hmm.
Yeah? How's it going?
I mean, I think that's part of why I booked AT&T, honestly.
Can you talk about that experience?
Yeah. Do you want the whole shebang or just the callback?
Talk about the callback. Yeah.
Callback, yeah. So the callback, it was they just mostly had everyone yelling.
Zoom or
Because
was it
like
live?
this was in person.
Uh-huh.
So it was self-tape to in-person callback. And I had kind of done my bits and I hadn't really gotten any notes in the first round and then I left the room and I got kind of like chased down. They were like, "Erin, can you come back?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure."
That's
Um yeah. And so I went back in and he asked me to do a couple things and I did that. I was like, I'm pretty sure I did. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Or at least like, oh yeah, okay, I love that. And did the side step and then did another like a variation of the yell and he was like, not quite that, whatever. And like I won't specify the direction on that one, but it was it was kind of like okay, like in my mind I was like, how do I navigate this? But I just like gave it my best shot and just like had a good time with it.
yeah.
And then the thing that was really nice is that one, I was having a clear like sense of communication with the director. And then at the end of it, he was like, "Okay, great. I think that's all we need to see." And I was like, "You know what? Do you want me to just do one where I just give you like a bunch of different variations of the yell?" And he just sort of like lights up and he goes, "Oh, yeah, that'd be great." And so I did that and I did like three takes. And the thing was that in this take, I had already kind of created like a moment of seeing the phone breaks. It's a commercial that's airing right now, so I can talk about it. Seeing the phone break and then yelling, and then I just cycled through like three of those. But in creating that moment too, of the moment of like just having that reaction and the very like honest build up to it, that commercial I got put on a veil for got released from, but then I booked basically another commercial in that series based on that last edition. So I went straight from like essentially what they had already seen to booking, which was amazing. But I think it was because I took that extra thing to be like, "Do you want this?" And
Yeah.
it was in a very like fun, like, "Hey, this is fun and we're playing. And I love this idea. Do you also want this?" And I think that's what got me the job, honestly.
And congrats for having the courage. Because there's that moment in the body, which is like, I got to get out of here.
Mhm.
Right. But it's like, why? Why? Again, I've never had a director who's just like, oh God, that actor just stuck around. It's like, well, if you're there to give the director a stroke and you're showing that you're having a great time working with them, which you should, because this is the best. It's the best working with the director. And it's a true, genuine moment. Like, who doesn't want that actor in their rooms and on set? It's just, it really kind of blows. It's understandable because our nervous systems are so powerful and it drives us up. We often waste these beautiful moments of play with survival techniques. And I really encourage everybody to start looking for what are your red flags of your nervous system? Like, are you sweat, hard breathing, heart palpitations, whatever it may be, to be able to recognize, oh, right, my body thinks I'm going to die right now. Right. Right. Don't worry about it. You're not going to just breathe. Just breathe. Stick around. Be interested in what's happening in the room. Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Erin. That's really great. Okay, good.
And I will also just say that that sort of sidestepping helps so much because even when I asked about that last thing, I just did that little sidestep and it's like, yeah.
Yep. It's essential because if we stay frozen in that one moment, we also become like every other actor they've seen that day, which who refuse to move from that moment, that in front of that camera. Terrified, frozen. Mix it up. Allow yourself a little fluidity. Let the room be yours, you know? The thing that I like to say in class, and I really do take this to be true, is our area in front of that camera has to be our spa. You know, cucumbers on the eyes, mud mask, terry cloth robe. It has to be the place that you feel most comfortable. I was on stage once in college. I had a great teacher, and we were rehearsing this play, and she's like, Bill, are you breathing up there? Because this space has to be the place that you breathe the easiest. You have to be able to breathe up here. And I was like, well, I'm going to steal that for the next 20 years. That's good. It's really true. Okay, thanks for sharing that. I'd love to open it up for more questions. If people have like any questions about technique, headshots, business, auditioning, whatever it may be, I'd like to open that up for more questions to everybody. But first, before we get to that, I'd really like to talk to you about this development program because the development program is something that I'm starting next month, like in a week. It starts in May. And the development program is a small group of like-minded actors like yourselves who want to train to become better at commercials. And this whole thing started years ago when, after my classes, students were asking, so Bill, now what? I was like, yeah, that's a good point. Now what? After they learned all of these techniques, it's like everything that I teach in my classes, which is like the foundation of like me booking. The last spot I booked was my 53rd national commercial. So all of this stuff that you're learning from my classes are all from my experience and have helped me book that amount and hopefully 53 more. But back in the day, I was getting like 2 to 3 auditions a week plus callbacks, which means that I was training like a possible like 10 to 15 times a month. And that's not happening now. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm lucky if I get like 4 to 5 auditions a month. So we have to practice. Otherwise, it's going to die on the vine. I promise you that. Like the yeah, yeah, yeah. If you don't practice, you're going to get into the room and get up in your head, and it has to be in your bones if you stand a chance in these really high fear-based rooms. So I created something called the Development Center, and the Development Center is basically a private Facebook group. And every Monday, I'll post an audition assignment and a tutorial video. And then you have until Friday to post your audition in the group. And for everyone who gets their auditions in by Friday, I coach and comment on the work in the comment section on their video. And it is such a great way to learn. One, it's on your time. Two, you get to see everybody else's work, which I think is huge. We always want to steal from the best. That's what made me good. And we live in these weird actor bubbles. So we get the audition, we submit the tape, and then we wait and we have no idea. Here you get to watch everyone else's work. It's the best way to learn. And then once a month, I'll host a live Q&A, and you'll get to ask questions, anything about the techniques, anything about your business, anything about the business. And four, it's cheap. It's only 39 bucks a month. That's a $39 commercial class. That's like a 6-month commercial class for 240 bucks. So if you are looking to develop your skills, I wanted to keep it inexpensive so that you can keep active. That's really the whole bit about it today. And that's why you're here today, is to learn something. And there's no better way to practice. So let me, while I'm talking, hold on one second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to email everybody the sign up link right after this session. This is your deposit to hold a spot. There's only limited spots. I can't hold like 1,000 actors in this class because I needed to do quality coaching. So your deposit holds your spot, and then it covers your last payment when you choose to leave. And then it just becomes an auto payment situation every month, taken out of the day that you pay. So if you pay now, it's an auto payment will be taken out of your PayPal on what, the 26th of each month. And if you've taken my class already, what we'll cover is slate, narrative, script breakdown, direct pitch, script breakdown, direct pitch technique. Tell us about yourself stories, the yeah, 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 and mindset. And if you haven't taken my class, don't worry. Each assignment will always come with a video tutorial for each one. And I really do encourage you when you get this email with the payment link, jump in, even just to try it. Some actors stay with it for 6 months, some stay with it for a year, some come back when they feel rusty. It's just like the gym. And I can't tell you enough, you have to practice, otherwise it will die on the vine. So look out for that email after this class. I think it's the most valuable thing. It's the most valuable bang for your buck class-wise, and I'd love to see you there. All right, let's ask some questions. You can ask questions about that program. You can ask questions about what we've just learned. Anything that's arising. Feel free. Yeah, please.
I have lots of questions. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Um, so one of them about the callback is in you know how in a lot of the self-tapes they ask you to do it three different ways. So then how do you ask? I mean, how do you know which take to do if you've
Oh,
given
yeah,
them
yeah,
a
yeah.
variety of them in your
Sure.
self-tape?
Do the one you like. I mean, that's the one that organically is the most fun, you know. And then if they want you to go in a different direction, be like, yeah, you did a little different in your audition where you did this, then we're like, okay, cool. Because again, the service bit is how can I help now? How can I help now? How can I help now? Just truly being present to the moment and getting out of our own way of I need this, I don't want this, like all these crazy little synapse firings that are happening to us in the moment. If you go with your intuition, which is really like the long-term game, which is developing your intuition about what you feel is good in the room, just go with what you thought was great. And then if they want you to change it, be present to that moment to be able to hear that, and then just change it up. Is that helpful?
Yes, very much. Very much. Yeah.
Any other questions arising?
I have another one then.
Please go for it, man. Drive it. Drive it. Good.
So I don't do a lot of commercials, but I do a few. And the last two um, were uh, one of them I think was maybe they were both brothers, but they didn't speak English or they didn't speak to the actors, so everything went through the first AD, or the first, yeah. And it was weird and it was hard. And yeah, it was just any tips about that?
Yeah, I mean, just read the room, like know who you need to be interacting with. Like if the two brothers can't speak English, but yet they're interpreting through the AD, make the relationship with the AD. Because how you're treating the AD is how you treat them, you know? Like everyone in the room will see that. Everyone on set will see that. Like treat the AD as the spokesperson, but also as them. I mean, you're in service to everybody anyway.
Right, right.
Um, but why was it necessarily uncomfortable for you?
Um, One was not and one was. It was one that actually never ran. And I feel like it was me, but maybe it wasn't because it was a multiple like scene spot. It was, okay, we need you to open the door and keep it open. Okay, because I was the last one in the room. Okay, we need you to open the door, um, but not look like you're opening the door. Okay. Okay, we need you to open the door faster. Okay, we need you to all come in faster. Okay, and now the dog doesn't want to do anymore. I mean, we did it about 3 or 4 times, and then the dog wouldn't do what he was supposed to do anymore. And that and that was it. And in my reflection on it, I thought I should have asked when after once I try to keep the door open because I was the last one in to keep the door open. Can someone offset just grab the knob?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
sure.
I tried, you know, I
Yeah.
tried to use my body. I tried a lot of different things and the first AD was getting increasingly upset with me. It's easy. Just keep the door open. Just do it fast. He was just getting
Oh,
angry at me. And
interesting.
I probably was going, but I was trying to help. I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out different ways of doing it. It's like I can do this, and um,
And also too, look, when we run into that kind of behavior on set, which is very, very possible, that's when I start rooting deeper into my service, being more present to this moment. And the more present that I am to this moment, and the more vitriolic or the more off kilter or the more violent the language becomes or the behavior, I can have my internal evaluation system on point and to recognize, is this me or is this him?
mm,
Is this me or is this him? And like the story that I tell is like one of the first jobs that I ever booked was for Subway restaurant, right? And I was the first shot of the day and I was playing a customer. And we actually shot in a real Subway restaurant. And so there was like 60 crew members in there, some actual real Subway employees. And I was supposed to walk in and sit down at the booth. And all the client was in the back, the director was in the back, they were all in the video village. And so they hooked me up with sound and we did the move. And then they hooked me, and then they got the camera moved down, and then we practiced that. And then they put all the costuming on and everything was fine. Now we're ready to shoot it. First AD is like, okay, are we ready to shoot? Director's like, yep, let's shoot it. Bill, you come in, you sit down in the booth. Great. We got this. Good. Okay, let's shoot it. Okay, quiet, please. Speed sound. Everyone silent. Everyone falls still and action. And I walk in and I sit down in the booth. Pause, pause. Then from the back of the room, a sound which still raises the hair on the back of my neck, the director screamed out, "That sucked!" 160 eyes. And I won't lie, like my nervous system, like my first thought was, oh my God, I'm fired. I'm fired. Fired. And then I thought, wait, hold on. I walked in, I sat down at the booth, like my service was impeccable. Like I did exactly what's going on. And then just the thought just arose, oh wow, wow. He's terrified. He's terrified. And so in return, yeah, maybe or maybe not, someone just tried to name him. Poss- Possibly. Um, Over that group of 120 eyes, I said at this tone, what do you need? Beat, beat. Okay, moving on. He screamed out. Next shot. Everyone scatters. We're moving on to the next thing. He was, to be frank, like using the language, he was just pissing. It was the first shot of the day, and he was just proving to everybody that he was the boss, but he had no ship to put his barnacle on, you know? Like I wasn't like pushing back. I wasn't like, like bowing before the great terror god. I was just here. Like, what do you need? Like, whatever you need, I can do. What do you need? And so we just moved on. The moment passes. So I find, and you will get into these, why is that? Yeah, right. Why is that person acting that way? Because they are terrified this spot is not going to work and they are taking it out on whatever warm organism is right in front of them. And you don't have to look, and sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you'd be like, you know what? I'm sorry, you cannot talk to me like that. That's not helping. I just want to put that out there. The way that you're talking to me right now is not helping. Sometimes that's needed. Again, what we talk about in service is not what people want, but what is needed. So we're not there to fix anything. That's the thing, is that like we're not there to genuflect to the great powers of the room. Like that's its own nervous system response, which is fun. I roll over and I expose my belly to the great power in the room. That's not what we're doing at all. We are coming from a place of absolute power, which is just pure service, which is I'm just here to help. You can't do that wrong, you know? And that engages our active listening, that engages our body, that engages like our ability to be able to do our jobs well and succinctly. And if you make a mistake, it kicks in our forgiveness, self-forgiveness. No problem. I'll get it next time. Don't worry about it. We're all here. Okay. And you become one of the most powerful people in the room. And you don't have to exert it. You just are. Because there's no ship to put your barnacle on, you know? So when you find someone getting on you, don't take it personal. It has nothing to do with you. Because here's the main rule. People who take the time in this business to make you feel bad about yourself are not good at their jobs. People who are great at their jobs don't have the time to tell you how to do your job. They just assume you can do your job. And if you can't, then they're going to help you guide to do it so that we can move on. But if you ever, I walked into an audition room and some director was like right up in some casting director's face. It was like, who the f***'s the director here? Oh, hey, Bill. I was like, oh yeah, here we go. This this is gonna be fun. Okay, it was just already like just so much ego and so much like need to be seen as and like all of this stuff. And you're like, no, that's sorry, that's not where I'm coming from on this one. Come over to my side. The water's really nice over here, everybody. It's not taking it seriously. I take it dead seriously, but I give up the need for result. Okay. Is that helpful?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Because I went into fear.
Yeah.
I mean, I really did try and do it. And I was very nice to him and I thanked everybody after, you know, I was done. But
Yeah. Look, if anything, he should have made it easier for you to do it. That would have moved everything along a lot faster.
yes. Have you, do you do sometimes the yeah on set?
I do it
Like,
whenever I get a note
oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. That's so great. Thank you.
because I have no idea what it looks like in their mind. I have no idea. Sometimes when I'm on set, I can't do this in my audition, but sometimes on set, I'll say, hey, if we have the time, can I take a look at the last take in the monitor? Because now I see what they're seeing. I'm like, oh, right. So when I'm doing this, they need me to do that. Right. Okay. And I see it through their perspective because it's a visual medium for them most of the time. Now, here's the careful part about that. When I first started doing that, I was watching myself going, oh God, holiday fat or whatever, like judging the mechanism, right? So what I started to do instead was while I was watching the monitor, I was pretending like I was watching a robot that looked extremely like me, but a robot nonetheless, just so I could watch the mechanism do its thing. And then I could apply my talent and my skill and whatever. So be very careful. Like I think watching yourself is an incredibly powerful tool. I know that actors have their own opinions about that, but I watch myself all the time. I mean, who wouldn't want to?
Yep.
When blessed with this, I mean, all right. So that's a tool I find is helpful on set. You obviously can't do that in the audition because there's no monitor. But when you're on set and you get a note from a director, that's sometimes what I'll ask. If we have the time, can I watch what you're talking about? Cool. Great. Great question. Okay, we got a couple minutes left. Anything else arising? Okay. This is recorded. I'll be sending this out to everybody. More importantly, is that I'll be sending the link to the development center. This starts in a week, and I encourage you to jump in, everybody. It's cheap, it's fun, it's a blast, I promise you. And I really can't emphasize enough how important it is to practice this stuff. It's fun to learn, but if you're not getting as many auditions as you need to find a way to practice this. It has to be a gym. It has to be regular. A brain has to get into it because when you get the self-tape assignment or you get into that room, the brain kicks right into a nervous response. And if you don't have this stuff in your bones, it's not going to stick. And there's no point in doing any of this work if it's not sticking. Because of commercials, I've been able to travel the country and travel the world. Because of commercials, I haven't had to take a job I didn't want 15 years. Because of commercials, I've had insurance for me and my family. Okay. I'm a big fan. Commercials really help like expand our abilities as actors because it gives us a little bit of financial responsibility, financial freedom. It gets us in the audition room more. It gets us on set more. Like it's a total win for me. At least it has been in my experience. And it only takes one audition, just one. The question is, are you ready? Are you ready? And it atrophies. So if you are not practicing, you will not be ready. So I encourage you to jump in. Look for that link and jump in. Give it a try for a month. See where it goes. Okay, much love, everybody. Thank you for your time today. I so appreciate you spending your Saturdays with me. Thank you. Have a great day. Enjoy the week, and hopefully I'll see you there. Bye, everybody. See
Thank
you.
you, Bill.
Thank you.